We're very excited to explore all that South Africa has to offer.
Yeah.
What are you most nervous about?
We're quite nervous about the competition, like the Q&A part, and also we're afraid that we will not have a lot enough time to explore enough of the South Africa part.
What can we expect from you from the semi-finals?
I would say a well-prepared presentation and thorough financial analysis, and also some inspiring thoughts from us. Yes, great. That's all you can expect from us.
The Amango case, researched, designed and developed by the CharterQuest Institute, is based on a real-world multinational business within the global metal and mining industry. It simulates the strategic decisions its group CFO and board faced or potentially faces. The group is faced with the complex interplay of strategic threats, weaknesses, and opportunities, some of which are embedded with serious ethical dilemmas, involving compelling individuals and powerful stakeholders that create a context for significant organizational change. The board has published a 3-year viability statement and turnaround strategy with emphasis on 4 policy objectives. 1. Restructure the portfolio. 2. Deleverage the balance sheet. 3. Drive operational discipline. And 4. Change dividend policy. 6 major issues have surfaced that require the group's attention, for which the board has asked the teams to prioritize, evaluate, and offer strategic advice. Managing divisional performance group-wide. A strategic performance measure relied upon to evaluate and reward executives appears to be creating some dysfunctional behaviors with unintended consequences. The CFO global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to financial and performance management, strategic management, as well as cost and management accounting. Strategic joint venture decision in Canada. A native Aboriginal group in Canada has been on rampage against mining companies, singling out Amango for exploiting mineral resources with too little benefit accruing to their clan. A number of mining companies, including Amango, are going into JV arrangements to mitigate this risk and undertake coal mining projects following resurgence in coal prices. There is need to decide on the best configuration for the mining infrastructure, amongst others. The CFO global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to risk and decision management, people and relationship management, as well as a clear distinction between traditional and modern cost management accounting techniques. Strategic disposal in Brazil. Amango, as part of an ongoing asset restructuring program, has received a $1.5 billion offer to buy one of its subsidiaries in Brazil. The offer needs to be evaluated taking into account its interconnection with the corporate reconstruction and reorganization issue. The CFO Global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to financial reporting, international financial management, as well as strategic management, balance sheet deleverage or share repurchase. Amango's iron ore and coal disposal plans in South Africa has come under attack by the PIC, its single largest shareholder, who is threatening to dump its shares in the market if it proceeds with the disposal plan. In a separate development, the government is about to promulgate a new set of mining regulations that will impose a 10% royalty tax on the turnover of all mining companies and require them to surrender 26% of their ownership to historically disadvantaged persons as part of its Black Economic Empowerment (BEE) policies. The company is considering to rather sell part of its residential property portfolio to a BEE group and use the funds to meet specified objectives. The CFO Global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to financial accounting, interest rate risk management, financial management, business ethics, industrial and community relations, the management of government relations, as well as strategic management, operational risk and industrial action in Australia. A controlled shutdown has been hurriedly effected in one of the group's mines in Australia, with 560 personnel evacuated due to safety concerns. 6 are reported dead, and 80 miners trapped in deep underground mines have been rescued. The incident has invited us notice to strike from the trade unions, and there is a protected strike that is already in motion. The CFO Global aspirants were required to apply relevant costs and benefits, financial management, public relations management, human resources management, supply chain management, operations and safety management, as well as business ethics, corporate reconstruction and reorganization. There is a fierce board debate over the strategic direction of the group, impacting on the decision as to which businesses to sell and which ones to keep. The CFO Global aspirants were required to apply concepts relevant to ROI, RI, EVA, and strategic management. Best wishes to the teams.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're Team Eureka from the University of Hong Kong. My name is Cheryl, and these are my colleagues, Kelvin, Kirk, and Fion. Now, we understand the metal and mining giant Amango is facing pressing and also critical issues right at this moment. In all over the world, Australia, Canada, Brazil, South Africa, they are facing large scales of protest, death and accidents, and also devastating financial losses every moment. Now, this is what we'll do today. After taking into consideration of urgency, financial position, as well as ethical implications, we will walk the board through the issues in the following order. First, we'll talk about the operational risk in Australia, followed by balance sheet deleveraging. Third, we'll talk about the strategic disposal in Brazil, followed by the joint venture decision in Canada. And last but not least, corporate restructuring. I'll now pass the time to my colleague Fion to run you through the first issue. Fion, please.
Thank you, Cheryl. The first and the most important issue is the operational risk and industrial action in Australia. One of Amango's copper mine has been shut down last week due to a near collapse of the mine shafts caused by a faulty geotechnical design. Together with a series of global issues related to safety, Amango is currently facing bad publicity, which results in its dropping market value. There will also be a union action if the company takes no serious action to improve its standard in 7 days. Hence, it is crucial for Amango to take to improve its safety standard and to avoid further accidents to regain investor confidence. Regarding the shutdown, Amango could either resume production and attribute the shutdown to a minor technical problem, or to close down the current shaft and construct a new one nearby. There will be a seemingly mild financial and operational impacts under option 1, and the inadequate inspection under option 1 will actually has a high risk of total collapse of the mine shafts, and that's why the resulting injuries the resulting injuries and also the exposure of the cover-up of the safety-related issues will actually worsen the publicity of China, publicity of Amango, which will also accelerate the industrial action and further the market value decrease. On the other hand, regarding the close down and the new construction, despite the production suspension of the construction of the new mine shaft, option 2 will actually deliver a $56.5 million NPV to Amango and improve the safety standard. Therefore, we recommend Amango to take option 2 together with the following action plan. First, it is to establish a safety management mechanism regarding to the preparation, response, and supervision. Second is to compensate the deaths and injuries regarding to the guideline. Third is to issue a public statement to address the close down and also the actions taken to improve the safety measures in order to ease public disgrace. Finally, quarterly reports regarding the regular inspection reports should be published in order to please the public. Now I'll pass the time to Kelvin for issue 2.
Thank you, Fion. So for issue 2 is evaluation of 2 strategies for the meetings with PIC next week in the face of global decline in mining industries, excessive debt, as well as fulfilling the mining law and charter. So strategy 1 will be disposing the coal and iron ore mines, while strategy 2 is to unbundle part of the residential property, which further develop into 2 options on how to use the sales proceeds. In terms of financial management, although strategy 1 can bring up a positive NPV of $14,000 million, however, the debt-to-equity ratio will increase, which seriously affects the capital structure and the financial position of Amango. However, in the option 1 in strategy 2, which use the sales proceeds to repay the debt of Amango, it can decrease the debt-to-equity ratio from 1.44 to 1.14. In terms of business ethics, for strategy 1, it hampers the industrial, community, and government relations as it may fail to fulfill the new black economic empowerment champions. While for strategy 2, it means that some of the employees who have lived there for one generation to another has to move out to another place when you unbundle the property portfolio. So it is advised that Amango should have proper treatment on these retrenched employees to minimize the adverse effect. So it is recommended that the option 1 in strategy 2, which is the unbundled product portfolio to repay the debt, should be implemented as it's better relieve the problem currently faced by Amango now. Thank you. So may I pass the time to Kirk for issue 3.
So thank you, Kelvin. For the third issue, under the Assets Disposal Program, Amango has 7 days to evaluate the offer from CMOC on AMAMP's disposal in Brazil. First, regarding the financial performance, if Amango accepts the offer, Amango is expected to improve its credit rating with reduced net debt of $450 million. On the contrary, if Amango rejects the offer, it is still expected that Amango can achieve a positive 3-year net present value of $9.15 million. Moreover, regarding the political risk, exchange rate risk, as well as the economic risk, if Amango accepts the offer, it is advised that Amango could have avoided the non-diversifiable risk. Also, it should also be noted that Amango actually has a strong bargaining power over CMOC, as CMOC is expected to achieve economies of scale after the acquisition. Therefore, With the pessimistic outlook from the global demand, it's advised that Amango should have accepted the offer and divested AMA MP in order to cope with the corporate reconstruction issue explained by Fion later on in issue 5, as well as the risk appetite of high political and regulatory risk. And now I should pass it on to Cheryl on the following issue.
Thank you, Kirk. I'll now talk about the joint venture decision in Canada. As for the likeliness of ceasing the protest, it is very ineffective because unlike the joint ventures established by Amango's competitors, it does not include the leaders of I Don't Know More. On the other hand, CFS is an international mining law practice, which means that it is conducive and effective in mitigating the risk of notification of licenses. Now, on the other hand, for the configuration of joint venture mining infrastructure, after computing the expected coal demand as well as the profit with different coal prices, as well as taking into consideration the maximax and minimax regret analysis, we will recommend the board to adopt Design 2 because it is the most cost-efficient and most profitable. I'll now pass the time to Fion to cover the last issue.
Thank you, Cheryl. And the fifth issue is about the corporate reconstruction and reorganization, which is concerned by our largest investor, PIC, and also our board members. To decide whether to focus our portfolio on diamonds, PGMs, and copper, or to maintain and expand our current business portfolio, we've conducted analysis regarding the internal capability and external opportunities. Considering the critical success factor of each segment and also their parenting opportunities with Amango, diamonds and PGMs should be the core segments in the portfolio due to their favorable fit with Amango's capacity and also resources. While for copper businesses, it will also remain profitable upon the improvements of workplace safety and environment, given its sufficient capacity to capture market opportunities. Regarding the profitability of each segment and also Amango's competitive position in the market, diamonds and PGMs remains to be the dominant segments in the portfolio. Despite the average outlook of copper business, Amango's ability to capture market opportunities implies the potential increase in its competitive position with further investment. That's why we recommend Amango to focus the portfolio in diamonds, PGM, and also copper. In order to avoid the offloading of PICs due to the resulting disposal of coal and iron ore mines, we recommend Amango to commit to reinvest in South Africa, for example, to expand their platinum subsidiaries in the country in order to show their care for the country's social and political development, which is aligned with the PIC's investment rationale. And now I'll pass the time to Cheryl for the ethical issues.
Thank you, Fion. I will talk about the ethical issues. In Australia, we recommend the board to establish safety standards as well as offer pay leaves and other employee benefits. For the case in Canada, we believe the board should adopt a modern accounting system because it does not only take into account of financial factors, it takes into account of non-financial measures such as environmental costs as well. Last but not least, for the organizational efficiency, we would advise the board to appoint supervisors and also modify the bonus system. Now, we believe that our strategic evaluation and also recommendation takes into account of Amango's 7 pillars of value and also 3-year viability statement. We believe that in the long run, our recommendation can help Amango's with this sustainability. We'll now invite questions from the board.
Thanks to the team and well done for your presentation. I will kick off by requesting you to probably expand to the board. How do you think the business judgment rule will impact on all the key decisions that you've explained?
I believe your question is that how would the business judgment affect all of the solutions that we recommended? So we believe that a mango is as a giant, it has a lot of strengths and also weaknesses. So in order to tackle to the above evaluation and also the recommendations we offered, we believe that prioritization is the key element. So if you have noticed just now, a lot of problems are actually happening in different geographical areas and also different market. So unless a mango has immense resources, and also immense human capital, we cannot tackle all of those problems. Now, so we believe the best business judgment is to prioritize all of the issues in the order which take into account of urgency, financial position, as well as ethical implication. We believe that we are offering an integrated solution plan that can tackle all of these problems. If we tackle the most urgent problem, for example, in 7 days, there will be a union action in Australia and we're losing $200,000 every single day. If we tackle those issues first and take into consideration of the financial implications, the issues following would be easier. Why is that? Because in that case, we will have a better cash flow, we will have better publicity, and we will have better confidence in terms of our investors and also our employees. And we believe that that is conducive to our business as a whole overall, and it is best for us in the long-term run. Thank you.
Team Eureka, well done. Always difficult going first. Good job. I'd just like to get your advice on the CEO's behavior by putting the profit before the people. How would you handle that? It wasn't really answered in the presentation in much detail.
It takes into account of the ethical issue and also the profitability concern of the CEO. We know that cash and also profit is the main priority of a business. However, we cannot undermine the ethical impacts of its action. Why is that? Because just as we mentioned just now, it hampers the investors' confidence, which means that we will no longer have a lot of investment. It hampers also our PR image, which means that to the public, it will elicit more rallies such as those in Canada and also those in Australia. And also, we believe that to strike a middle ground between profit and also ethics is to take into consideration of a few factors. For example, urgency. In face of the union action that is we will be facing in 7 days, for example, using that as an example, we will first come into a negotiation with the local employees, for example, offering them with compensation schemes, which would defer them to go to the press and further hamper our public image. And also, we actually complied a safety management system. For example, we have 3 stages, which is preparation, response, and also supervision. For preparation, we with reference to the International Labour Organization C176, Safety and Health Regulations, we believe that we can refer to that international regulation and impose minimal and also critical safety standards. We can also have timely response systems. We can tackle the public concerns. And also we can have safety drills as well as efficient compensation schemes. This way, other than meeting the minimum wage and also being humane to our employees and also be improving on our corporate image, it can also strike a balance between profit and also ethics. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Team Eureka. I think you've really helped us in terms of the decision we have to make as a board. I just want to tap further into your knowledge. You advise us to improve our safety standards. What we need to know as a board is what actions can we take? Because before we can start to take actions to address a problem, we need to understand the root causes. So what do you advise us to do to understand why we had the issues we had with the mine safety? And once we understand what the issues were and who was responsible for what should we do?
So I think that as for the case in Australia, the mine shaft is having a near collapse because of the faulty geotechnical design. So for the next time we construct a new mine shaft, it's really crucial for us to double check with the manufacturers and also the constructors about the design of the of the mine shaft in order to maintain the certain safety standards. And another factor is that Mango is actually trying to cut down the labor safety expenses. Perhaps it's about their safety equipment or the apparatus they're using when they're producing the goods. So it's important for us to perhaps Mango should have, as we have mentioned, we should publish a code of conduct for the suppliers in order for them to follow to provide a minimal standard of safety apparatus for the employees in order to maintain to ensure the workplace safety. So the head of each supplier or each factory or each mine should be in charge of this, and they should maintain the safety within the factory or the mine in order to ensure the workplace safety. And in order to ensure this happens, we will also have a performance evaluation system which takes into account the safety standard of each mines or each our suppliers, and so as to motivate them and also to help the mines to maintain the essential safety standard. I hope this answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could you give us as an advice for the board, with all these issues, what is your view on the performance management structure that you recommend to the board? Of course, to avoid the situation that we have the CEO and to really improve the performance in the company. Do you have any advice on that sense?
We believe your question is that what is the advice we can give to the current management team?
And how do we incentivize the current management teams? Yes.
Okay, so let me tackle one of the problems we have right now. So one of the factors that's driving the management team's performance away is the bonus system. Because why is that? The bonus system actually drives the divisional managers to care for their own interests. If their division gain better profits, then they can have a bigger cut. Now, this is very not conducive to the profitability and also the operations of the whole system. So we recommend to modify the bonus system and add into more ethic factors, as well as other check and monitoring system. For example, having supervisors come from regional as well as the headquarters. That way, we can monitor the performance of the management team in the subsection area. That way, we can better grasp the whole company structure and then deliver better and also more efficient performance. I'll now pass the time to Fion to elaborate on that.
And one of the most critical issues is that there will be a ramping up production towards the year end and within the group. That's why we advise Mango to adopt the variable costing accounting system in order to calculate the bonus for the managers, so that ramping up production will not help them to increase their bonus year end. And another problem is the transfer pricing, which may be too high because between divisions, they are hoping to have a higher income in order to have a higher bonus. So we think that by implementing or comparing the transfer pricing with the market price, if the transfer pricing is getting to a really unnecessarily high level, then we should penalize the division or the manager of that, because we notice that some of the divisions actually turn to outside competitors in order for a cheaper or more efficient resources. So this is also hampering the efficiency of our own group. So by having such a monitoring system, it can help to improve our efficiency and also help us to manage the group performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Eureka. Well done. My question relates to the unions. Firstly, what's your approach? How do you manage the unions on the one side? And secondly, how do you think around breaking the strike that's in progress at the moment?
to tackle with the union, we believe that it's important to communicate with them and tell them we're already having some actions to improve our safety, and we should have some concrete actions to show them we're actually improving our safety. So as we have mentioned, can I continue? Okay. So as we've mentioned, we have to first issue the public statement to explain to them what happened with our safety standards in the past, and we also have to tell them what actions we would take to improve our safety. Because public relations is really important in terms of like dealing with the union. So it's important to communicate what we're going to do well, and we should really implement what we are saying. And for the protest that is already in action, that's more related to the wage level and also the protection level of the workers. So what we're proposing that is to
Perhaps what we are proposing now is to have a balance mechanism, is to balance both of the investor interests, the stakeholders' interests, as well as the company's profitability in line with the 3 years viability statement. So I hope that answers the question well. Thank you.
Thank you.